The Marvel Retro 3.7 Kenner line was a fun addition for Marvel collectors and a new way for fans to jump into the hobby. Let's explore the successes and failures of this new line that led to it being quote unquote rested for the time being in 2023. The Marvel Retro line created Kenner like low articulation figures with vibrant comic book looks. They were simple display pieces with fully colored card backs that popped visually. These figures sat on pegs and were instant eye catchers. Another big selling point was the price, only $11. That was the perfect sweet spot for picking one up on a whim or for chasing down a whole wave. It made them easy to collect, and most of the time you would find them on sale on top of that. But maybe those constant sales were foreshadowing a dark cloud looming overhead. The line first started hitting Target shelves in 2021. At the time, I wasn't really collecting Marvel figures. I always kept up with them, but these instantly pulled me in. I found myself wanting every series and just wanting to be a completionist of it. And in just 2 years, Hasbro announced 7 waves of these. And these weren't bad character choices either. We got classic fan favorite heroes and villains, plus some deeper cuts. Even the ones I knew less about still grabbed me because of the comic accurate designs and just how vibrant the figures and card backs were. Series 1 started strong. Spider-Man, Magneto, Hulk, Captain America, Carol Danvers, and the Human Torch. Right away, we saw bigger molds, accurate accessories, comic looks, and even transparent castings. Series 2 pushed things further with the transparent Iceman, an amazing figure that just popped on shelves. And Series 3 proved they were willing to swap out parts to make alternative characters instead of just repainting them. Though, let's be real, repaints still crept into future waves. Some later waves even folded figures from earlier assortments back in, but highlights included Nova, Moon Knight, Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man, and a killer Green Goblin. Honestly, the 2 figures that almost made me cave and buy waves 1 through 6 in a single day were that Green Goblin and The Thing. I clearly had a soft spot for this line. Now, I don't own a single one of these figures because I was always skeptical about the line's lifespan. As more waves came out, I kept seeing older ones still clogging shelves and going on deep clearance, and that made me hesitant to invest in something that felt like it was being set up to fail. I'm very much a completionist, so if I wasn't going to be able to collect the entire Marvel universe, I didn't want to invest in this line. Now, when it comes to the production volume, Hasbro seemed to overestimate the demand for these, flooding shelves faster than collectors could buy them. Once stores like Target started marking them down, it really sent a message. I started seeing them in places like Ross, and the line wasn't moving. This kind of overstock was signaling the end, and I was seeing entire waves in deep clearance on Big Bad Toy Store. Another reason for its decline was it pushing into a space already dominated by Marvel Legends, meaning Hasbro was competing with themselves. Fans loved the articulation of Marvel Legends and always wanted to see it pushed even further. This line did the opposite, reducing articulation for stagnant poses, card displays, or a retro look. It simply couldn't compete with what fans already loved, posing their figures in those dynamic comic book stances. The older fans that they were targeting already had displays full of Marvel Legends. They were not inclined to jump into this retro line, especially since they were already spending so much just to keep up with the Marvel Legends line. Imagine trying to collect every Marvel Legends drop and 7 waves of retro figures in just a 2-year span. Then you throw in the made-to-order model and maybe a HasLab, and at that point you have to get a part-time at Hasbro just to get some sort of discount. Another factor that played into the resting of this line is Hasbro's Epic Hero line. Their 4-inch scale figures line aimed at kids that was announced around March 2023, which was around the time the retro line was rested. Fans believed Epic Hero was a direct replacement. Honestly, how could you not feel that way? These figures stepped away from the collector-focused scale and instead aimed to bring toys back to their original target audience, kids. The senior director of fan product design at Hasbro confirmed on Instagram that the retro line was being rested. Now, I'm missing the retro collection, but I'm happy with what Epic Hero does. It brings kids into the hobby and creates our future generation of collectors. Maybe one day we'll see it again, but with Legends dominating the Marvel scene and multiple companies introducing figures at similar scales, I doubt the 3.7-inch format will ever fully flourish again for Marvel. it'll probably remain more of a low budget alternative for parents to grab for their kids, like the Epic Hero line, which to be fair does have some fun features and highlights like the Venomized Loki. I mean, I saw that in stores and I thought that was pretty cool. I hope to see the retro line make a return, but for now, Marvel Legends has some cool overpriced plastic I'm hoping to see go on sale soon. Let me know if you want to see its return. Thanks for watching.